Hello Kitty has seen her fair share of animation over the years, spanning all the way from the classics like Hello Kitty and Friends,
Hello, Kitty. Hello, dear friend.
to the more weird and obscure animations such as The World of Hello Kitty, where Kitty sounds like a grown man trying to put on a cute voice.
Are you wrapping a gift for me?
This is a sport. I am going to perform.
And even to modern day, where we have the adorable Hello Kitty and Friends super cute adventures.
Oh, my own video game? That's amazing, boys!
While there is a ton of Hello Kitty animation out there, I want to focus solely on one episode in the 1989 series Hello Kitty's Fairy Tale Theater. This was Kitty's first ever foray into a fully fledged animated series. The show was also surprisingly unique and outgoing for a first attempt. Rather than make a series based on adventures of Hello Kitty and her friends, which would have been the obvious choice, the showrunners decided they would instead base the entire show around a theater setting where Kitty and the gang would be putting on plays parodying popular movies and fairy tales. They dabbled in all sorts of classic fairy tales and movies, such as Wizard of Oz, E.T., Aladdin, and even Crocodile Dundee for some reason. The episode I want to focus on, though, is Cat Wars, a parody on Star Wars. It's mind-blowing to think that this even exists. Like at one point in time, Sanrio was just kinda green-lighting these showrunners to go ahead and slap Kitty into all sorts of existing franchises. Props to Sanrio for being bold enough to go through with the idea. So now, let's jump into the episode and see how it compares to the beloved classic Star Wars films. Right off the rip, we're introduced to our cast of heroes. Tuxedo Sam is Fluke instead of Luke. Kitty is just Princess Kitty, who is a parody of Leia, obviously. Chip is C3CLO, of course C3PO. But the funniest of all is my Melody as Hop2D2 to be our R2D2 clone. Look at poor Melody. She looks like a cyberpunk experiment gone wrong. I can appreciate that every character is clearly in a costume though. They do a great job of making it abundantly clear that the entire idea and aesthetic of the show, in terms of main character design, is to make everyone look as though they are in a costume at a play. The crew are returning Kitty home to the planet Cattern, but are being pursued by none other than Darth Catnip and her trusty Lieutenant Grinder.
We're closing in on them, Darth Catnip!
Excellent, Lieutenant Grinder. Fire at will.
Both Catnip and Grinder are characters made specifically for the villain roles of Fairy Tale Theater and haven't been used outside of the series. Catnip has this sweet-looking cheetah ship which she blasts Kitty's ship with. The attacks aren't just regular old laser beams, these baddies use flea beams. The flea beams hit your ship, then seep fleas inside to attack all inhabitants. This actually sounds like hell. Imagine instead of just being hit with a blast that destroys your ship, you get hit with a flea infestation. That might actually be more unhinged than just killing someone. The fleas quickly infest the ship and Kitty and crew are knocked off course, with their ship plummeting down to the completely wrong planet. They splash land into a river, but thanks to the powers of the fur from a friendly feline, they are lifted out of the river to safety. This fella is Grandpa, playing Hobie Catnobi, which is Obi-Wan, obviously. Weirdly enough, his fur powers are apparently somehow tied to the fur jacket he has on. Catnobi recognizes the princess and then takes everyone to the 931 Flavors Ice Cream Parlor. It's a kind of funny juxtaposition as Kitty asks how the heck they're going to get back to Cattern, and it just sort of jump cuts to them going to get some ice cream immediately after. The parlor is their version of the cantina, except it's much, much larger. Their alien design is also way more unhinged than Star Wars. Look at this dude playing all the instruments. He's got like 14 hands and one of them is coming out of his damn head. This poor guy must live a rough day-to-day existence. The group of 5 meander through the cantina as all the gross-looking alien fellas grumpily stare on. Once they get to the counter and order some ice cream, a reptile guy grumbles at poor Fluke and slams his bowl of ice cream on his head. Catnobi doesn't play that way and uses the fur to splash the ice cream back onto Mr. Reptile. Everybody at the parlor sees that Catnobi has the power of the fur and immediately back off, deciding not to start anything. Also, look at this shot right here. Does Grandpa not look like he runs some sort of nefarious underground operation? This guy is dripped from head to toe. Meanwhile, Catnip and Grinder have made their way to Cattern to take over command. Darth Catnip sits on the throne and puts back some milk as she claims that she now commands the flow of milk and ice cream by forcibly ruling over Cattern.
The universe must obey my every command, or never again know the pleasure of milk and ice cream.
Yeah, apparently Cattern holds the sole milk distribution rights in the galaxy. Not quite sure how that works, but we'll let it slide. Katnobi leads the group up to a ship so they can board and be off to Cattern to stop Darth Catnip before things get too dire. Though, before they head out, Fluke has an internal crisis as he thinks back to not being able to save Princess Kitty from the fleas that had infested the ship previously. Katnobi cheers him up, then gives him that drippy fur jacket to help Fluke harness the powers of the fur. But he tells him something inspiring before seeing him off.
But remember, the power of the fur really comes from within you.
That will be important for later. The gang depart and are off to Cattern to take back the planet no matter the cost. Darth Catnip gets word of their arrival and sends out a fleet of her ships to take them down. Luckily, the deflector shields are now working, which are actually just giant flea swatters. Big points for creativity there. Fluke pulls off some top-tier flying and dodges incoming flea beams, making all the enemy ships hit each other. Then he pulls out a tremendous 0 IQ move.
Time for evasive action!
He straight up said, "Time for evasive action," as if he were about to pull off the juke of the century, but instead held down the accelerator and slammed head-on as fast as he could into Catnip's cockpit. I think the fur drip is getting to his head. Because of Fluke's ill-considered kamikaze strike, Catnip's Panther ship is now toast because of the massive hole in the front of it. Everyone jumps ship using parachutes. Not quite sure on the logistics of parachuting down to a planet from space, but they manage to do so, and thus begins the iconic saber scene of Fluke versus Darth Catnip. Their sabers use the same flea beam technology that the baddie ships use. Catnip hits Fluke back and he smacks into a tree with his fur coat getting stuck up in the tree, robbing him of the power of the fur. The flea saber goes out and he's on the back foot. But then Katnobi comes to him in what looks like a force ghost, or maybe more so, a fur ghost.
Remember, Fluke, the power of the fur comes from within you.
I presume this is just Fluke remembering what Katnobi said, rather than a dead Katnobi speaking to him through the fur force, as that might be a little too morbid for the show. Plus, I can't really see how Katnobi would have died anyway. Fluke gets amped up and charges at Darth Catnip, harnessing the power of the fur from within. He hits Catnip with a tie-up maneuver using his saber like a light whip, and she scurries off with some Scooby-Doo sound effects whilst the fleas go to town biting the hell out of her. The episode ends with Kitty giving Fluke an award for his bravery and heroism. The award is referred to as the honorary flea collar to the kingdom, which I like a lot. After the final scene, the entire cast stand on stage and bow to the audience. Catnip refuses to give back the fur jacket to Tuxedo Sam and is infested with some karma-fueled fleas within the jacket. With that, the entire show is concluded. What a wild adventure. I mean, it's wild that the episode even exists. We still to this day don't have an official Hello Kitty and Star Wars crossover. Just this small piece of parody media from over 35 years ago. I think it was great though. You can tell the creators had a lot of fun coming up with ways to be true to Star Wars whilst also making it not seem like a completely blatant and boring ripoff. The flea beams and sabers were a great touch, and the fur instead of the force was creatively put together. All in all, I really enjoyed the episode. It obviously isn't going to blow you away or anything, but it's a fun and enjoyable time for sure. You can find it, along with the other episodes of Furry Tale Theater, very easily on YouTube, so I would definitely give them a look if it's something you're interested in. You can never have enough kitty in your life. Now, I want to hear from you guys and gals. Have you ever watched Cat Wars or maybe some of the other interesting episodes from Furry Tale Theater? Let me know in the comments below. I read them all and respond to most. Thank you so much for watching the video, and hey, if you enjoyed it, a like and subscription help out a ton. Plus, they're free. So long.